Good afternoon, everybody that's joining us. Good afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. We are going to get started shortly and we're going to do, of course, our webinar. Lovely to see you. Just let you know, this is also being streamed on YouTube. Yeah, hey. So lovely to see you, Andy. Lovely to see you, James. Lovely to see everybody that is here. But don't this is more of a webinar, so do feel free if you want to be off camera. That's completely okay. And I will take questions. So, I'll just stop and pause for questions and to take anything that you might need in terms of helping you and supporting you with this journey. Hello, Ruth. Lovely to see you as always. And we're going to get started. And of course, this is turning out to be a part of a series of webinars I've ended up doing, not on purpose, but, it's just the way it works, all around thriving and monetizing your speaking during challenging times. And today I'm going to talk about how to use LinkedIn to get high paying speaking opportunities. What's really interesting with LinkedIn is the more we've dived into it through gig getters and through a variety of services we offer through our alert service, it is a gold mine, and people that literally aren't using LinkedIn are losing out, or maybe you're not quite sure how to maximize it. And that's why I really want to share with you today. The call to action is going to be this. If it's going to be a book and a call with me. So for those going, what's he going to sell? What's he going to sell? Nothing. I'm going to give this all to you. And if there's any way I can support your speaking journey, there'll be a chance to book in a call with me, a 30 minutes complimentary consultation for us to have a conversation about what might be right for you. So you can sit back, relax, take notes, and learn some of the stuff I'm going to be teaching about this when it comes to using LinkedIn to monetize your speaking. If you just quickly want to pop your where you are, what you do in in the chat, please feel free to do so. So we can people can connect and look out and find out more about you as well. And look, this is the time to stand out more than ever as a speaker, period. This is the time to stand out. Here in the UK, I know some of you are joining globally. Here in the UK, crazy times. This is the time to stand out as a speaker and be more giraffe. And one of the places to do this is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a gold mine. We have doubled down on LinkedIn. We literally do not use any other platform when it comes to gig sourcing, when it comes to profile raising. We have a presence on Twitter, but we don't do a lot with it. We've seen that grow as well, but really we've doubled down on LinkedIn. And what I really want to show you is what we've done and how it's led to massive results, lots of clients. I've literally gone from just under 3,000 to heading to over 7,000 in less than 4 months since doing a lot of these things. So there's some very practical and tangible results here. You've also got Regina in the room. So if you have any questions, technical things, she's there. Please reach out to her. She's the one with the Speaker Express symbol on the thing, and she'll also be doing that. So again, if you want to type in some of your challenges right now, I don't know why I can't see the chat room. That's really annoying. I'll have to pause and have a look at it, but I'll keep going because I know this is what you want. David, lovely to see you as always. Always a pleasure to see some lovely faces. Sally, lovely to see you and looking forward to seeing you next week. Hello, Catherine. And I can see someone else, but I can't quite see your name. It won't show. Oh no, that's not good, is it? But I can look in participants. There we go. Who was it whose name I couldn't see? And Catherine, lovely to see you as well. There we go. Long time no see. Right. So I will have a look at the challenges. Please do type in. So in essence, we work with a variety of businesses when it comes to using speaking and influence as a positioning piece. And they all share various challenges. And maybe you relate to one more than the other. Current, of course, to adapt and be current is always a challenge. Getting booked, getting paid is one of the biggest ones that people approach us for. Sales, impact, all of the above. This is what we help people with when we work with them. And again, today I'm going to show you how to utilize LinkedIn to get booked, get paid, and land those high-paying speaking gigs. Most of you know me on this call by now, but if you don't, I've been doing this for over a decade. I've run 2 previous businesses, all of them 6 figures and above. I've written 6 books now, with the 6th one coming out. Well, it was going to come this month, but it might be New Year now. I run my own podcast, Public Speaking Expert Podcast. I've over 10,000 hours. I write for magazines, and I am head giraffe. And today you're going to find a little bit more. What does that mean to be more giraffe on LinkedIn? I've done my best to keep it visual. So I've cut examples so a lot of you can see what I'm talking about, not just theorize what I'm talking about. And again, if you do have any questions, I will pause and look at the chat room so I can answer any questions you might have. We work with a variety of industries across paths, from influencers to people pitching on TV to incubators, all with one common thing: using speaking to influence, right? Some of you attended the webinar I talked about last week with Maria, when we broke down what we did with her when she delivered a talk, which brought her £20,000. And again, something that Maria uses very much is social media for positioning to attract the teachers and things like that, that she speaks in front of. Again, when it comes down to attracting your ideal client, LinkedIn, they are on there. The good thing with LinkedIn, by the way, is LinkedIn is described as Facebook with money. If you ever need a kind of something to kind of equate it. And if anyone knows or advertise, can I just ask everyone make sure they're on mute, please? There we are. I'm just going to mute some of you. So if you're not on mute, please make sure you are. I would like to advertise. I've advertised loads on Facebook to no avail many a times, but LinkedIn, when I've used LinkedIn, it's always brought back an ROI for me as well. So think of LinkedIn as Facebook with money. Yay. So let's talk about the first key when it comes down to Facebook. So the first thing I want everyone to think about and to reassess today, and you might go, yes, I do. Great. For some of you, what I'm going to talk about is going to be a reminder. And for some of you, it might be a revelation. Either way, thank you for showing up. Here's the thing. What I want you to think about. Now, a lot of you use LinkedIn in various ways, right? Use it to promote your coaching, your consultancies, your business. But are you putting content out there that's relevant to getting you booked? This is key, because if the answer is no, well, there already lies one of the key mysteries why you might not be getting inquiries you want, why you might not be getting the bookings you want, all for the fee you want. Think of the output of content. Now, some of you have heard me say this: content is cash and content is king. Now, if you're putting the type of content that shows your type of speaking, what you speak about, that will help attract the speaking opportunities you're looking for. Because remember, I'm going to talk about this in a little bit, but you're really putting the content out for the bookers when it comes to speaking, right? So do you need a bit of a variety of content is the other question. There's various types of content to put out there, right? And I think some of you know this, but it's got to, if you want to get those high paying gigs, the content's got to lead to the inquiry. It's got to lead to people finding out. So it can't always be, oh, look at me speaking, book me, because obviously that's a bit like going, hey, I've met you in a bar, let's go to bed. It doesn't work, right? Or maybe it does. I don't know. It's never worked for me. Not that I've ever tried it, right? It's about putting the content that shows that you really understand the problem and you're the person to speak about it. So video format is one, long form is another, short form is another, but really thinking about the different types of content that will attract the booking. What I see with a lot of speakers is they kind of put singular type of content and it doesn't always work because people get bored, it's not enrolling, and you got to have a variety. Now, again, LinkedIn doesn't work with the same likes of comments as other social medias. Of course, some people get loads of likes and loads of comments, which is great, but it's not that kind of platform. LinkedIn can be, people looking at LinkedIn tend to digest a lot more, not necessarily respond. And I've seen that time and time again recently with me attracting clients. They watch, they've read, they've never comment, they've never liked, and a lot of them are now my clients, right? So you're targeting two audiences when you're producing content on LinkedIn. You're targeting the conference organizers, right? And you're targeting those with communities that put on events. So it's important you understand that the content caters for both if you want those high paying gigs. Because again, now you might just want the big conferences, and that's okay, right? Nothing wrong with that. They pay the high. Then your content has to be produced. Excuse me. Has to be produced to attract that, right? And I will stop. I don't know why I can't see my chat in the chat room today. Show chat previews. But I will have a look at the chat, I promise, okay? And, you know, can you articulate what keeps the event organizers up at night, but also their audiences up at night, and communicate that in a way that will get you booked? So call to actions like, let's have a call. Can I speak for you? Would it be good for me to come and talk to your teams? All these kind of subtle call to actions, you know, DM me if you think this is good for you versus book me to speak, right? You can do that with event organizers, but the others you need to think subtly a lot more. Okay. Key number 2 is what we call page packing. And I really want you to think, does your page scream expert speaker? Be honest. Let's be very honest. If it does, great. Right. So when people land on your page, within seconds, do they see you're an expert speaker, or does it give the impression you're an expert speaker? And that goes from the top, right? The banner that you use, to the kind of connection statement you have underneath your name, to using the featured. Is there a show reel in there? Is there testimonials? Is there clips of you speaking? Are you maximizing that? Again, people want to see you speak if you want to get the high speaking gigs, and you need to make it easy for them to see you speak. LinkedIn is one of the platforms that people will go and check you out. The amount of times people reach out to me, they've read, digested my bio and everything first, right? So really have a think about it. Are you really page packing? And the other thing I want you to think about is, does it reflect your fee? Again, your content, the images, all of that. Now, you could be a high paid speaker, fantastic. Does the page reflect that? Or are you having to always justify yourself? Do people land go, oh yes, this is a high paying speaker. This is, big pictures, big rooms, all that kind of stuff really matters. So I hope you're following and you're digesting this, and this is getting you to think a little bit as well, which is what I want from today's. Right. So again, when it came to packaging it and content, someone that somebody talked about, you've heard me talk about Juan. Juan was one of them. Once he started producing the content to attract the opportunities, he then attracted the opportunities and was able to get paid and speak where he wanted to speak, which then led to the job he's got now, which is the community manager for Steel Warriors. But that came from what he outputted and the positioning he created as well. Step 3, right, is the titles. Okay, now you feel free to ignore me or to disregard this, but please stop using public speaker. That immediately tells me that you don't get paid. If you don't want to get paid, that's okay. But if you're saying, James, expert coach, public speaker, you're immediately going to tell the booker that you're low fee or no fee. Okay. The other one is motivational speaker, inspirational speaker. The challenge with that is, first of all, the industry wants implementable steps. Right? The challenge with motivational, inspirational is it's so wide, and it's such a wide title to give yourself. You've got to remember that the speaking industry is looking to box you in, period. You need to fit into a talk that I'm looking for. It needs to be 45 minutes long. It needs to be on this topic. And I need to know immediately that you are going to deliver that topic. If you're calling yourself any of the 3, that tells me nothing, right? So please stop using those titles, or speaker. Paid doesn't tell me anything. What you should be using is expert speaker, right? Expert speaker on, expert speaker in, right? Expert speaker narrows you down. It does narrow you down. But the assumption is going to be you're motivational. The assumption is going to be you are inspiring. That's why I'm paying you, right? So expert speaker on stress management, expert speaker on, right? Expert speaker on breaking records, right? It really does depend what we're talking, but that's key here. Expert speaking in beating the system, Micah might say, who's on this call. Expert speaking organization, Catherine might say. So expert speaker is key, okay? Because people are looking for expertise now, not just inspiration. Now, if you just want to be an inspirational, motivational speaker, fab, go to town. But a lot of you on this call, I know and have seen, and I know you're experts. So call yourself an expert that speaks on, right? So that's what I want to say about that. Step number 4, I'm going to pause in a second and actually try and see what's in the chat, because there's lots of stuff popping up and I just want to see that I'm not missing anything, or you don't feel like I'm ignoring you in any way. I want you to really think, again, this is all LinkedIn related. I guess you could make it speaker related. Does your buyer sell you as a speaker and or your fee, right? Key. Now, again, LinkedIn, people will read the bio. That buyer needs to sell you. It needs to tell the event organizer, the conference organizer, the person wanting to book and pay you why they should book you, what's in it for them, what are the takeaways for them, right? So yes, it's about you, but you are also promoting your speaking, right? So if you look at our LinkedIn, yeah, it's literally it's split into two. You've got me as a speaker, and obviously we do training, so we split into two. But the first part they land on is the speaker, right? So again, when you think about your bio on LinkedIn, why you, what's in it for them, and what are the key takeaways? This is what ours looks like. I don't need to read it now, but it basically straight away tells you about me as a speaker and then tells you about me as a trainer. And that, again, immediately tells people where I stand with the fee, and it sells me as a speaker, and they know what to expect. Remember, we want to make it easy for people to book us. Don't make it hard. Make it simple. Make it easy, right? So again, that's what the bio. So really today, after this session, I hope you're taking notes. Look at your LinkedIn. Is it doing what I'm saying? Is the top selling you? Is the pictures selling you? Are the banners selling you? Is your bio selling you, right? All these bits. Are you producing the right content? If not, now you know what to do, right? So again, when it came to the whole bio and positioning, someone we work with, this as a creative agency, once we got that right with them, they found themselves getting booked in the right places again, and versus the time wasters, they were like, they got the right bookings, and then they're able to move forwards with their speaking. Now they speak to sell, slightly different, because they sell their creative services, but they started to get the right bookings. Okay, I'm just going to come off share now because I want to see what's going on in the chat room, right, before we progress and move forward. There's all this stuff going in the chat, and for some reason it won't open. Right. Okay, cool. Let me scroll back. Don't forget to record as well. I forgot to record. Too late, Regina. I wasn't looking in the chat room. So London, we got London. Hello. We got Ruth. Lovely to Catherine. Hello. Challenges, high paid speaking gig from Andy. Good. So I hope this is helping, Andy. Still working balance between seeing clients, running biz, and getting out there as a speaker. Yes. Welcome to being a speaker. James hey James, lovely to see you. I'm just going through things. Cool. James, you have a question? What's your question, my friend? Ask away. Unmic yourself.
Thank you. Hi, Elliot.
Hey, lovely to see you.
And you, my friend. It's a quick question, just when you were talking on that, and as you can imagine, it does get confusing about A, B, C, and then you go around the circle, then somebody says, change this, change that. I take on board your points about motivational. I've never liked the word fitting for me personally. And from what you're saying there about don't use the word inspiring either. I think I've answered the question whilst you were talking going on, because all it was is I was doing my homework by redoing my website and what to put on there and where and this sort of stuff. And I obviously checked on somebody else's, and they had on there motivational speaker, and they're rather well paid, if you see what I mean. And I thought, aha. And the answer came to me was because I had a conversation with him this morning about it, because I spotted something on his website, is that when you look at one of his videos, up pops a picture of a woman. And I thought, well, that's not you. So why is she on your thing? And I told him about this. And he said, oh, yeah, but that was done years ago. So the interesting thing was that he hasn't touched his website in probably 4 or 5 years. And he's obviously getting all his bookings and paid through the agency. So that's my learning from it. So I appreciate what you're saying. I will go and change it.
I mean, it's a good point. I haven't quite flagged it on the LinkedIn side, but how current is your toolkit, right? The footage, your show reel, all that stuff, is it to date? And that's something that you've got to think about as well. So there we go. Someone else is joining us a little bit late, but not to worry. So thanks for that. Yeah, look, these are suggestives, right? If you really feel strongly about calling yourself a motivational speaker, and that's not you, James, but Jenny, call yourself. I've got nothing wrong. It just puts you in such a wide versus expert speaker on will narrow down who would book you. And that's
that makes so much. Yeah, that makes so much more sense. I appreciate it. So thank you for
because remember, no, it's cool. Remember, we want to get rid as much as we want to attract. So we don't want the time wasters, right? So great question. Thank you. Right, let's carry on. I'm smashing through these, which is great. Here we go. Back to there. So very quickly, here's what I also want you. Here's what, stop doing what doesn't work, right? Key, period. Stop using, a lot of people call them speakers, but there's no proof that they're speaking. There's no images, there's no video, they're not sharing anything. It's like the secret that they keep. I mean, we've just launched the Speaker Awards, which is happening next week in London. I'm super excited about that. But the amount of speakers that don't have any footage anywhere, and they send us their videos, and they're hidden in this Dropbox, or they're hidden. So I'm like, why is this not on YouTube? Or they're on YouTube and it's hidden. I'm like, I don't get it. Right. Same with LinkedIn. Right. Why people, if you want to get those high paying fees, people need to see your speaking. Right. The other thing, of course, is sounding too generic with your content or with what you're putting out there, or like everyone else. Find a way to be more giraffe, stand out, right? Generic speaker titles, we talked about motivational speaker, inspirational speaker. Yeah, it's okay if that's only what, but a lot of you are experts, period. I alluded to this as well, the wrong type of content. It just doesn't attract those speaking opportunities. So you might need to assess your content strategy to attract, so if you have a marketing team or someone does your marketing, have a talk to them about, the content that shows you off as a speaker that will attract bookings. And a lot of that is demonstrating that you get the problem and you have the solution, and knowing which objections and obstacles are in the way. Right. The other one is self-indulgence posts, which don't add value. Well, that's not going to get you high speaking gigs. There's nothing wrong with self-indulgent posts. We all do those every now and then. But if we're looking about the high, there's people that continuously ramble on about themselves, and then they complain they don't get bookings, right? The other thing is to be inconsistent with your LinkedIn presence. It's not updated. You don't follow through on messages. Or the amount of times I get messages, go, Elliot, I'm rarely on LinkedIn. Okay, well, that's no good to me, right? All these things, inconsistent. Like, you need to post a few times a week consistently. We post every day. That's something we choose to do. 3 times a week, as long as it's consistent. 2 times a week, as long as it's consistent. The important thing is being consistent, right? And the other thing is you make it really hard. That's what I was alluding to. Like, you make it very hard for people to inquire or book you. You're not on there enough. You don't respond. I'll respond later. You get back 4 days later. Well, they've already got the speaker then. You need to be responsive. You need to be easy to work with, period. And there we go, slow to respond as well, right? So keep that in mind. So as I said, look, today is all about giving. And if you want to have a conversation with me about your speaking needs, book in a call, right? We can work on structures. We can help you get booked. We can help you with your speaking, generally understand how to market yourself better, right? If you got something to say or a product, you just want some guidance, some advice, let's have a conversation and find out what's right for you. That's it. That's all that today I'm talking about, is having that. We've worked with a variety of industries. Sarah, we work with, she's in the property space. All you need to do is literally scan the code, grab a slot. Let's talk. That's it. That's today's sale. Today's pitch is, if you need help with your speaking in any capacity, marketing or delivery, then by all means book a call. The QR will be there throughout. We'll also put the link in. We work to a variety of budgets. We work on delivery, keynote, signature talks, but we also help with bookings, getting booked, to LinkedIn audits. We have we've got an alert service now for speakers. So I just want to find out what's right for you and see if we can guide you in the right direction. So grab the QR code, get yourself booked in, right? And we'll go from there. Cool. I'm going to crack on with the webinar because I just really want to do this to help everybody today. So the link will be in the chat. The QR will be there. Let's talk. Deal? I'm going to give you everything and you booking a call. Yay. Right. So are you utilizing and asking for recommendations and sharing testimonials? Key. Again, something that's massively underutilized is the recommendations when it comes to speaking. A lot of people are quick as coaches, trainers, consultants, speakers, speakers not so much, to get their recommendations, right? But also utilizing that as part of your getting booked strategy. So as soon as you do a talk, ask for recommendation, right? Then you can also chop them up and share them as part of your content. The other thing people don't utilize very well is, of course, sharing testimonials. So to the right, we've got Jack, who I've worked with. He writes for the BBC and people like that. He's also, by the way, he's a public speaking trainer, presentation coach himself. And we work together. And then he sent me this amazing testimonial with a bit of a naughty word, but that's okay. And I share it. And I share it because it helps me get booked, not because it's look at me, I'm so good. No, we share it because social proof has a massive part to play in getting booked and high paying speaking gigs, which is why you should consider sharing your testimonials as part of your content. And again, it's not done in a look at me, look at me. It's like, look, this is the results we get our clients, right? Really important. And a lot of people underutilize the recommendation and sharing testimonials. You want those high paying speaking gigs? If someone's looking on your LinkedIn and they're going, bam, bam, oh, wow, that's great testimony. Oh, wow, that's great recommendation. Let me reach out. Okay. So really think about that. This is key. All right. Next one, proactive outreach. I think inherently a lot of speakers, and I'm seeing this more and more, sit back. Bookings come to me. I'm going to manifest the bookings. I'm going to meditate on these bookings. Nothing wrong with that. I'm all for manifestation and I'm all for the law of attraction. However, what I can say works the best is proactively doing outreach. Now, some of us are master manifestors. My wife is a master manifester. She's like, I need a new contract. You know, she's self-employed. Boom, she'll get a phone call. Like, she's amazing at that, right? For people like me, I do it myself while attracting opportunities. Again, proactive outreach. The more you build relationships, the more you get booked. People will book you if they know, like, and trust you, or they'll recommend you if they know, like, and trust you. The problem is, right, that most people have one approach to reach out and it doesn't work, or it works for one type of outreach but not another. So here's some examples, right, of our outreach. Now, I always crack a joke. That's my style. You don't have to crack a joke. So when I'm reaching out to other speakers, I'll talk about, you know, what's Forrest Grump's favorite password. Some of you might even got this from me, right, when we do outreach. The middle is an event organizer that I did an outreach to, and she loved the fact that I was different and I cracked a joke, and now they have my content and stuff and we're discussing speaking for them, right? And the other one for event organizers, once they add me, again, I share a joke. Now that's my style and that's what people like. They like it because it's different, and they'll add me and respond because it's different, and we'll start conversations from it. And I've got clients, I've got speaking opportunities. You need to be more giraffe with your outreach. Now, again, to event organizers, if you're clicking on an event and you're clicking on the organizer, that is a straight in, hi, you know, I'm Elliot. I notice you have speakers like David at your event. I'd love to be considered to one of your speakers. Here's my show reel. Here's my one pager. By the way, I hope you like a joke. That's why I would do it. What's Forrest Grump's favorite word? One, Forrest, one. Ha, 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 ha. And then, you know, most of the time I get, that's a terrible dad joke. And I'm okay with that. It's a terrible dad joke. I'm not a comedian, right? And I even say that in my follow-ups. I'm like, yeah, I don't do comedy, but this is what I speak about. Find your voice, your way of being original with the outreach. We are continuously doing outreach. And because of that, we've noticed growth. We've noticed more engagement, right? Proactive outreach is what will get you a big part of those high paying speaking gigs. Please stop sitting back and waiting for them to come to you. Now, if that's working for you, fantastic. But for 95% of speakers, it doesn't work. So proactive outreach, be different, be more giraffe with your outreach, sound different. Don't go, hi, Catherine, I noticed we're in the same networks. I'd love to connect and find out more. Overdone. Everyone uses it. It's the same. Find your way, right? If you're really specific, let's say IT, I don't know, use an IT type joke that people in IT would get. And they'll be like, oh my God, that's hilarious. I wouldn't get it. Do you see what I mean? Or not a joke, or use the language, right? So when it comes to proactive outreach, nurture, right? Nurture the relationship, respond, smile, yeah? Send them something, add value. Oh, I saw this and I noticed you do this. Here's an article about that. And then ask. People do it the other way around. They ask, can you book me? Will you pay me? Then they try and add value. Then they nurture. Other way, nurture the relationship, right? Because they might not have a speaking opportunity for you now, but it might be in 12 months. So how do you stay on their radar? You nurture it. Massively under-resourced and underused. All right, I'll come back to that. This baby here is your golden ticket. Search bar. underutilized, right? Search, you put commas, is it commas, right? Whenever they, mental health speaking, mental health conferences, mental health stress conferences, and it will bring up all the conferences on the topic that you're looking for, right? You can only do one at a time. It will bring up the speakers that speak at it. It will bring up the events and the companies. Not enough people use the search. Isn't that crazy? Like they might scroll and look, but using the search for specifically, because just remember that LinkedIn, a bit like Google, it will specifically bring up the search you're looking for, right? So start looking for the speaking opportunities you want. See who else is speaking there. Reach out to those speakers. Ask for a referral. Ask for a recommendation. But guess what? Nurture the relationship. Add value. Then ask, right? So these are some of the ways you get these high-paying speaking opportunities. And this is it, really. So it's a lot shorter than an hour, which is good news for everybody. Consistency. I talked about this, right? Consistency of relevant content. Consistency of your look. Keep it up to date. Keep it upgrade, make sure it represents where you are now as well, right? Keep it updated. Things change. Things are added. You've done more things. Add it up. The amount of times people go, oh, you haven't updated my LinkedIn for a year. Then you might get inquiry about something you spoke about a year ago, but you don't speak about anymore, right? This is key. And presence. Consistency of presence is really important as well. As I said, if it's 3 times a week, it's 3 times a week. If it's every day, it's every day, right? But you've got to be consistent when it comes down to it. Because please remember that LinkedIn, today's about LinkedIn, but it's part of your overall narrative. And what's really important that wherever they land, right? So they look for your LinkedIn and then they'll check your website and then they'll check some of your social, that there's a consistency of look, presence, language, and feel. It's got to almost be like, it's pretty much the same on Twitter as on YouTube as it is on LinkedIn. So the consistency goes beyond LinkedIn, because there's nothing worse than someone having a really polished LinkedIn page and a very cheap website, right? So that's the other thing I want you to evaluate when it comes to landing high-paying speaking opportunities, is the importance of consistency throughout your platforms that you use. Yeah, and that is really, really important, because it creates a cognitive mismatch. It's very subtle, but if I went onto Sally's, let's say LinkedIn, Sally does some big speaking opportunity, and then I go look at her website and it's, it looks cheap. And it's like, and then I'm like, is she really a high paid speaker? Oh, I've got like a £10,000 budget, but her website doesn't look like it. So just really think about the consistency. I'm not saying you all have to now go spend £10,000 on a website, but I just want you to be aware of the impact that has. LinkedIn being the gateway, but it has to be consistency as well of look, right, across your platform. So I just went a bit wider there with that. Right. Please remember, you're always selling. Always selling. Everything on LinkedIn is a sale. It's to get that person towards saying a yes, right? Now, you don't have to be a douchebag, but you are always selling. You don't have to be aggressive or pushy, but you are always selling. And the other thing I want you to remember is you're not a porn star, okay? So it's not about size, right? You can have a perfectly small following that's engaged and that gets you booked. Equally, you could have 20,000 people and very little engagement. That's why I'm saying it's not about size, it's about quality. So make sure as you build your LinkedIn that the people you are following, the people that you're accepting are the ones that are going to interact, are going to get you those bookings. And that's what really matters, right? Or give you those referrals versus I've got 20,000 people on LinkedIn. I mean, I remember I had a Twitter account years ago, not the Speaker Express, the Elliot K one. And I had over 20,000 followers on it, but so little interaction. It was so tiny. I deleted it, right? It didn't mean anything. I mean, yes, it was impressive. Look at the size, but it did nothing, right? Same with LinkedIn. And don't worry about likes and comments. Just keep posting, because LinkedIn is a lot more reserved when it comes to like and comments, although it's getting better. So it's not about the size of the comments or the amount of likes. It's about the quality of the content and the output, that it's attracting the people that will book you, that it looks like your fee and it transmits your fee and it gets you booked. Utilize the search bar, right, to find the speaking opportunities you want. Reach out, harness those relationships, add value, right? Ask last, right? So really think about all that. So I hope that's really helped you understand how you can actually attract those high paying speaking opportunities when it comes to LinkedIn, because it is a gold mine. Yes. And it's always changing. I get that. But you know what? We have had so much success in the last 2 months alone from LinkedIn because we've doubled down on it. That's the only place we put our attention. In the last 6 months, we've doubled the amount of people actually that are following me and interacting with me, but they're all high quality people from the industries we want, both bookers, conferences, and speakers, right? So I just want to keep that in mind. I'm going to look at the chat in a minute and have and answer any questions you might have for the rest of the time. But what are your biggest learnings? That's what I want to know. What are your biggest learnings from this whole takeaway? And then I'll have a look at the chat, and then we will go from there. Let's see what your biggest learnings are so far. There we go. See your learnings. You can, and of course, if you have any questions, Catherine, hello, you've unmuted yourself.
Hey there. So just whilst we were doing, I jumped onto LinkedIn and changed it to being an expert speaker and media spokesperson. So I can't remember quite what I had. It was a bit more soft touch, shall we say, kind of. And so I've changed that there and then because there's no time like the present to do that. So thank you for that nudge. I appreciate
You're welcome.
that.
Watch them now gushing, pouring in hundreds.
Right, I know, right? And the phone line's going to be inundated.
You won't be able to handle it, and then you'll be like, Elliot, will you be my agent? I'm like, okay.
Yeah, right. So, and actually, I have been seeing lots of great email traffic. My inbox is a complete mess. It needs decluttering. So I have some support on that now. But actually, one of the things I was going to ask, but I feel free to divert me if it's better as a one-to-one. The searching function thing that you're now offering, do you want to say anything about that on this call as well, or should I talk to you separately?
Yeah,
so
no.
how does that work?
Do you mean the alert service?
That would be interested as well.
Or the gig getters? The alert service?
In fact, are they different then? This might be my, I like I say, my inbox is terrible right now.
Yeah, maybe I'll just briefly mention it, but yeah, let's have a one-to-one. It'd be nice to catch up with you anyway. Cool. Search for me, also good. Very interesting to hear about the wording expert speak. And good, that's awesome. Using LinkedIn for, there we go. Yes, some of you had light bulb moments. Woohoo. Very quickly, we've got an alert service, which is a very low paying fee. It's like £9 a month or 97 for the year, where we daily email you speaking opportunities, and then it's over to you to apply. And then Gig Getters is where we have a team that literally find the speaking opportunity, apply for you. And then we update you every week and things like that. Is a retainer model. It's not a commission model, but let's talk about on a one-to-one, Catherine.
Okay, great. No, that's helped in its own right. Because as I say,
that's fine. And I know we do email a lot, so I understand what you're saying.
And unfortunately, you're not the only ones, which means my inbox is
what? I thought I was the only one. Cool.
Seed.
Awesome. So lots of the gold moment is around the search bar, which is fantastic. Any other questions I can answer? Peeps. Any aha moments you want to share? Some really cool ones here. And the wording expert, very important. Yes, people want to box you in. Please remember that. That's what people want to do. So, yep. Awesome source. Cool. Let's do that then. So look, there's the link to book a call with me to discuss any speaking opportunity, any speaking needs you might have. If I can't do it, I'll refer you on. Ruth, you have a question. Hey, Ruth.
Hi. Yeah, thanks for that. It's useful. Just to ask a question, you mentioned about putting videos on LinkedIn. How long or short should they be?
That's a great question. You know what? I think I don't have any answers, to be the honest answer here for you, Ruth. We've put videos that are a minute and they've had thousands of views, and we've had 10-minute ones that have also had thousands of views, and then we've put some that have none. So I think it really does depend. I can tell you the ones that have done really well. They have a really captivating title. So one of the last ones that did really well was why your audience isn't buying from you. That got loads of attraction, right? So the title's important. I mean, and that was a 10-minute video, and people watched it and commented. I think it's got to be with the relevancy to the audience and your ability to hold attention. I would always say shorter because of our attention span, so 1 to 3 minutes, but that's my opinion. Please don't quote me on that. They just do better than other videos. That's my opinion, but I'll do some research actually, because that's a really good question. One of my friends are LinkedIn experts. So I'm going to ask her and say, what's a recommended video? I bet she comes back with the same answer, but I'll let you know as soon as I do. So,
Great,
yeah,
thanks.
great question. There we go. I've got a message from Regina. 1 to 3 minutes video usually works across platform. So there you are. I wasn't far off my own answer. Okay, awesome. So if there's no more questions, that's it from me. You know what to do. Book in a call. I'd love to hear from you and see if I can support your speaking needs. There's a variety of ways we can do that. I hope you got values from the values. You got value from the 7 steps that you're going to have a look. Are you producing the right content? Does it sell you as, you know, in the right way? Does your bio sell you? Does it reflect your fee? Are you really nurturing those relationships? Are you using the search bar? Actually, I'll tell you what I'll do very quickly. This wasn't planned. Let me do this really quickly. Are you ready? I'll just show you what I mean when it comes to the search bar, why it's a gold mine. Okay, stay there. Impromptu moment. So this is my LinkedIn. I hope you can see that okay. I just want to show you what I mean. And I'm just going to put in the search bar, go away, these bad boys, right? And let's put, you see, I've done some searches. Let's put stress, because I know Ruth deals with stress, right? Can I spell? Conferences. And we'll see what comes up, right? Just an example. So you can also see what I talk about. So first of all, you've got 2 speakers here, right, who talk about it. Now let's see what comes out. Now what LinkedIn will also bring is people that have held conferences. So there you go. Spend incredible Thursday attending the Time Stress Management Conference. There you go. You've got a conference to reach out to. People who speak at conferences or run conferences. There you go. And there's a variety here. Conferences that clearly relate. I mean, that's software. But you see how it's bringing up posts around it. People are speaking about it. Now you can start to look at names of conferences and things like that. So you need to spend a bit of time. But now we know places we can go to look at stress conferences, for example. Yes, hello.
Could you just, while you're doing that, could you go along on the top scroll bar where it says post people, go along to events? If you clicked events, what happens?
Let's have a look. It will give you all the events when it comes to it. That's what happens. That's why the search bar is so underutilized, right? So you'll see people that are running events as well, webinars and things like that. But also you'll find out about conferences, see webinar, stress less, do more, let's talk. You'll find podcasts. So that's what happens there. Does that help?
Yeah, no, that's great. I just haven't done it lately. I just wanted to have a look while you were doing that.
Look, I think you can check all of the and then see who's posting about it. They often talk about, you could do this. Let's just quickly change this. I'll just quickly show you this. Stress speakers, right? See what comes up. So these are events, how to avoid. But now again, the thing is you can reach out to the people that are running these, right? But what LinkedIn is prioritizing is LinkedIn events. That's the key thing there, right? But let's see. So they're bringing up some speakers. And again, they will tell you where they're speaking, right? And then often it'll bring up events as well on the topic, but you can streamline that. Does that help a bit to understand how you do how you use the search bar a little bit? Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, hopefully I'm going to speak to some of you. If not, I hope this added value. I will see you all very soon. And if I can help in any way, please reach out. And Sally, I'm definitely going to see you next Friday. So looking forward to that. And I look forward to hearing of your successes now using LinkedIn and getting booked, highly booked when it comes to LinkedIn, highly paid even, and highly booked. Right. Till the next webinar, whenever that might be, have a great afternoon and I'll see you all soon.
Thanks a ton, Elliot.
You're very welcome. Have a lovely afternoon, everyone.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.
Bye. Cool.